and we are just so thankful. It's amazing. We have a media group that's here today filming that is from one of the E-networks. He's being very secretive as to which one he belongs to and where it's going to show up. But as soon as we find out, it will be posted on the Facebook page and hopefully out to the website so that people can go check us out, because he's not even from Tulsa yet. He came down here to talk to us and see why we're different. And I told him, his question was, what do you want people to know about Tulsa? And I said, Tulsa is Baltimore, and Ferguson is Tulsa, and this is happening throughout the country. It's not just these isolated incidences, and if you think that it is, you're wrong. And if these municipalities think that they can get away with just killing people on the street,
that's right,
they're wrong.
Crimes against humanity.
Exactly, and all it takes is a couple of voices to stand up and say, enough is enough. We're done. We're done with this. And to take those steps that you have to take, like filing the grand jury and as many petitions as you need to do, and, parking out. I have the worst sunburn today, I'm telling you. But but it's worth it.
I have an aloe leaf.
To get those signatures.
If you want to swing by, I have a long aloe leaf if you want it.
I do have some aloe vera chilling in the fridge at home, so I appreciate it. But it's cold. It's going to feel great, and I've been looking forward to it since about 2 o'clock this afternoon. but
now,
really,
if there's anyone else that wants to talk, I know that you help Mark quite a bit. Mark is one of the leaders of We the People of Oklahoma, though there's not one true leader, but he's been the voice. He's done so many wonderful things, and as others have too.
Yeah, he's leading them towards the Faulkner building now, or I would pass the phone over, but they are. They have left without me because I said, today, guys, I just can't.
Well, walk
and
talk
side.
if you can.
But,
I'm fine with that, unless you need to sit.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of sit. We got a booth set up where we've got the petition.
Oh, okay.
And so I'm kind of sticking around to be the petition lady. Traffic now has kind of died down, but.
Yeah, I can hear it's a little bit more quieter. Now, Stacy, what I would like to do with this radio show that I have is, like when there's a live event, I think I might opt to stay home and just do like live coverage. People can call in from their phone. Yeah. And just talk, let the chance be over.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Absolutely. This is a really powerful tool for getting that voice out there. And I want to encourage, and especially smaller cities in not just the Tulsa area, but, there are a lot of municipalities in Oklahoma that came about, I'm trying to think of, like Tallahassee, I know is one that sprang up after the race riots when people relocated out of Tulsa because they wanted away from what happened here.
Right.
And so a lot of these smaller towns, we really just want to encourage people that this movement started literally with 4 people on a street corner. And
it's true.
So know that you and your best friend can go out with a sign. And, yeah, we got flipped off. We got cussed out. We got, told to get a job. But now that Mark actually started back in August, right after Mike Brown was murdered. But, and it's gone from literally him on a street corner looking crazy to I think you can officially call it a movement. We have over 20,000 people.
And this is
we have over 20,000 people checking our Facebook page every day.
Wow.
Yeah, and to think,
and this is the way to do it.
Those people are from Tulsa. Yeah, it's completely organically grown. We have not paid a dime for anything.
No.
Honestly, other than to file the papers, we have not spent. Now, of course, some of us have used money to buy poster board and markers and
right.
what have you. Crystal brings water for us every time because otherwise we would dehydrate without her. But
oh, she's wonderful. I love that water.
Yes,
she's been a lifesaver.
She has been, and she lugs this heavy bag of water around every time, so that
suitcase.
when we get to where we're going, we've got somewhere to drink, or we've got something to drink. And it's little things like that, a couple of bucks
The
for the water, a
kindness.
couple of bucks for poster board and marker. And it's, and to think that we have not only, I mean, the changes that have happened in the sheriff's office just in the last month. I mean, yeah, we're not where we're going. We're not
Oh
there
my gosh,
yet.
you guys have done so much.
But
There's people on leave, there's
but
people resigning.
Yeah.
I've never seen such a quick response to a group like this.
Exactly. And it truly is people from all over Tulsa, all over the outlying areas coming in and saying, this is enough. You obviously no longer represent us, and so we want you to go. And
right.
We're not going to be content until he goes. So
because he's dangerous.
Well,
I mean, it's just a matter of time before something like this may happen again. I hate to say it that way, but
exactly,
it's the truth of it.
It is though. It's statistically 3 people a day die in this country at the hands of police officers. So we have been very fortunate, and I hate to say,
man. Mhm.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
What was the
number?
I
was going to say that Eric Harris was the 234th man killed by the police just this year.
Exactly, and I think I checked yesterday, and it was above 420 nationally.
Gosh.
So yeah, and it just keeps. I mean, it's every 8 hours someone dies, and so we have been. And I hate to use the word lucky, but it hasn't happened in Oklahoma. And I think part of the reason that it hasn't happened in Oklahoma is because we have kept this pressure on the sheriff's office, and he is forced to respond to our demands. And so that and especially when we're talking about people in smaller communities, putting that pressure on your local officials and keeping the pressure on them. It's one thing to come out and do one rally and say, hey, we did a great job. We've really solved something today. No, not until you really start digging down and make a cultural change, which is, I think, the point that Sheriff Williams is missing here in Tulsa, is we're not looking to make staff changes. We're not looking to make leadership changes. We want cultural changes made. And if he cannot see that and be a leader and see that he needs to make these cultural changes, then that is even more reason for him to go. Because he obviously is no longer interested in being a leader. He's more interested in keeping his position. And that's a dictatorship, and we don't do that here. So that's
well, and I think it's the culture of elitism that has seemed to taken over Congress and even our state Senate. It's happened, and definitely
absolutely.
for police
all the way
and sheriff's
down
department.
To the I mean, and that's the other thing too, is when we're talking about smaller towns, is you can affect the most change at your local level. I had somebody the other day tell me that he didn't want to sign our petition because we weren't doing anything about Obama. Well, I'm one person. I have a full-time job.
Yes.
And I have a chronic illness. So so my time to be able to go out and fight Obama is very limited, as you could probably understand.
You work on the situations that you can get influence on.
That you can affect change, exactly.
Right.
Because I can throw stones at the Obama administration all day if that's what I choose to do, but at the end of the day, people have resigned because I've come down here and yelled every week.
That's
people
true.
have resigned because I post things on Facebook. People have resigned because there are, 20,000 other people in my city or around my city that think the same way that I think. And you don't affect that kind of change at a national level without numbers. And so, we may be, focused on this one, and that's what we had another guy come up today that was talking about, well, if you're doing the sheriff's office, you need to do the whole all the way through the courthouse. Yes, absolutely.
Well, let's start with this one.
Right. We have to pick our battles, especially in this group. I mean, you realize we really, the Facebook page started in December of 2014. So we really have been at this for 6 months.
You
really
have.
legitimately
And you helped
has
start
been at
that
it for 6
Facebook
months.
page.
And so,
Is that correct?
yeah, and it's completely taken off. When we first started, it was us and a handful of friends just sharing articles. And now yesterday, after I guess I started kind of a controversy by my use of the Black Lives Matter hashtag at one of the rallies that we went to yesterday for the We Are Tulsa Coalition. Some of our members that have come in after all of the corruption has come to light took issue with the fact that I was using the Black Lives Matter hashtag.
Well, I think we can say all lives matter, but it is true that hashtag Black Lives Matter gets more views. It's true.
It does. It part of it is drawing in a crowd that is looking for our content. That I have to be honest, as someone who works with social media. Yes, it is. I use that hashtag because people are looking for that. People are looking for news about Eric Harris, so I use hashtag Eric Harris. But more importantly,
I'm with you.
More importantly, if you look at the statistics, because that was the major problem was, that more white people have died at the hands of police than black people. Numerically, yes.
But there's more white people,
430. That was my point exactly. 433 last year. 433 white people have died versus, I believe it was 212. I don't remember the exact number. But statistically, white people make up 65% of the population in the U.S. And so if we were following those
percentages,
kind of census breakdowns, it should be closer to 755 white people, not 423 or 433, whatever the number is. So in that concept is hard for some people to grasp because it means coming to terms with things that they've been taught in school. I mean, you have to realize a lot of people in Tulsa are not taught about the Tulsa race riots until we get
none
to
of them. It's still not in the curriculum.
I mean, TPS voted just this last month to not include it in the curriculum, and that I think is a travesty because much
it shows people think of life.
Exactly. It shows, and the message too that it sends is this is not an important event for you to learn about. When it affects the circle, I'm trying to think of the word.
Generational.
The fallout. Yeah, the fallout. You have people that are still dealing with. It's basically a form of PTSD, where they are scared to come out, and they're scared to speak up, and they're scared to make their voice count because of what happened to their grandparents. And then you've got their parents in the 60s.
It's a culture of fear. Let's call it what it is.
It is.
It's a culture of fear and intimidation.
Exactly, and constantly being shut down and told that your voice isn't important. Sit there, be quiet, and smile. And we're saying no. And that was my other point with the Black Lives Matter hashtag is your life is important. Your voice matters here. We hear you, and we want to uplift your voice. And like Mark says, bless your breath instead of F your breath. Because all of us are precious, and all of us were made in getting into religion, but all of us are made in God's image, not just white people. And not just black people. We were all made in God's image. And so to say, F your breath to a creature that God created, I don't know how some people can reconcile that with themselves. I really don't.
Well, on my show, I always say all voices hold value. Even if I disagree with you, your voice holds value. And I think that's what we're talking about is the value of a human life. And in Tulsa, I'm kind of shocked by the school board just last month doing that. I think that should make national news. Maybe we can make an issue of that. But to show that their lives do not hold value, so therefore it's not necessary to include them in the curriculum.
To teach you about your history, right? But,
right.
And it's not just their history; it's our. As a white person, it's our history too. My my family lived just a couple of miles from where it happened when it happened, and they weren't affected, but their friends and coworkers and they knew people that were affected. And so to say, this isn't important enough to learn about, let's